Adesewa loved her husband, Tund, more than anything in this world. Their home was a sanctuary, their future a beautiful, shared dream. But one evening, as she scrolled through his phone, a single message shattered her reality into a million pieces. He had been unfaithful. The man she had built her life around had betrayed her in the most profound way. The tears streamed down her face, a silent testament to a heart breaking. While Tund stood behind her, his guilt a heavy, suffocating presence in the room they once called their own. The love she knew was gone, replaced by an icy, hollow ache. In the quiet darkness of her living room, surrounded by the ghosts of happier times, Adesewa made a solemn vow. She would never again be the fool. She would never again offer her trust so freely, only to have it trampled upon. She promised herself, with a fierce determination born from her pain, that the next man to enter her life would be tested. He would have to prove his worth, earn her trust, and show her that he was different. The walls around her heart were now sky-high, and only the most worthy would ever be allowed a glimpse inside. Her pain would become her shield, her suspicion her guide. Her journey began with Kunal. They met for coffee at a bright, bustling cafe in the heart of Lagos. He was charming, with an easy smile and a smooth way with words. But, as he spoke, Adesewa watched him closely, her senses on high alert. She asked him a simple, harmless question, something she already knew the answer to, and he lied. It was a small, insignificant lie about where he was the night before, but to Adesewa it was a chasm. That tiny crack in his honesty revealed a much larger, unsettling truth. If he could lie about something so small, what else was he capable of? He wasn't worthy of her time, let alone her heart. Kunal had failed the first and most fundamental test. Disappointment settled in, but her resolve only hardened. Next Kamdayo. Ewaldea, Moe established and presented himself as a man of integrity. Adesewa decided to test his loyalty. She arranged for a friend to casually mention seeing him at a popular lounge, then waited to see what he would do. But she didn't even have to go that far. One evening, driven by a nagging feeling, she followed him. Under the neon glow of the city streets, she watched from the shadows as Deo, the man who had promised her his full attention, flirted effortlessly with another woman. His hands were a little too familiar, his laughter a little too loud. He had failed the loyalty test before it had even truly begun. The scene played out like a familiar, painful movie, and Adesewa slipped away unnoticed, another crack forming in her fragile hope for a love she could trust. Femi was different. He was younger, energetic, and full of life. He seemed open and honest, and for a moment, Adesewa let her guard down just a little. For his test, she wanted to see if he had patience, if he could handle life's small frustrations without losing his temper. She orchestrated a minor inconvenience during a shopping tripper, forgotten wallet that meant they had to go all the way back home. It was a simple test of character, but Femi's reaction was anything but simple. His face soured, frustration turning quickly to anger. He huffed and puffed, complaining about the wasted time. Then, in a flash of temper, he declared he was done and stormed away, leaving her standing alone amidst the busy mall. He had failed the patience test spectacularly, walking away at the first sign of trouble. 3 men, 3 tests, 3 failures. Adesewa's heart grew heavier, her belief in finding a good man dwindling with each disappointment. Just as she was about to give up, To resign herself to a life of solitude, she met Michael. She wasn't looking for him. She saw him at a crowded Lagos market during the golden hour, the sun casting a warm, forgiving glow on everything. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was simply helping an elderly woman who had spilled her groceries, patiently gathering scattered vegetables from the dusty ground. He had a gentle kindness in his eyes and a calm humility about him. There was no pretense, no performance. He was just good. As she watched him, a whisper started in her heart, a tiny, hopeful sound she hadn't heard in a long time. Maybe, just maybe, this one was different. Hope was a dangerous thing, but she couldn't ignore it. She had to know if Michael was truly as he seemed. Her tests for him started small. She engineered a situation where he thought he had lost a significant amount of money, a setup designed to test his reaction to loss and adversity. Hiding behind a car, she watched with bated breath. He didn't panic. He didn't curse or blame anyone. He took a deep breath, looked around calmly, and accepted the loss with a quiet grace that stunned her. He was composed, steady, and unshaken. Seeing his reaction, her hope grew from a whisper to a steady hum. But the fear that lived inside her, the ghost of Tun's betrayal, was a powerful monster. It wasn't satisfied. It demanded a bigger test, a more definitive proof of his character. Her fear pushed her to do something reckless, something she would regret for the rest of her life. She staged a dangerous scenario, a near miss with a car, to see how he would react under extreme pressure. For a horrifying second, she thought her test had gone too far. The car swerved, tires screeching, missing him by mere inches. He stumbled Bathshak, boot event 10, is the jerky. From her hiding spot, Adesewa watched, her own heart hammering against her ribs, a cold wave of horror washing over her. What had she done? This wasn't a test of his character. It was a revelation of her own brokenness. The guilt was unbearable. She couldn't live with the secret, with the knowledge of what she had put him through. That night, under the soft, forgiving light of a single lamp, she confessed everything. The tears she had held back for so long finally fell as she told him about Tund, about the vow she made, and about every single calculated test. She laid bare her deepest fears, her ugliest wounds, her desperate, misguided attempts to protect a heart that was already shattered. She hid nothing. Ashus Bok, she watched Michael's shame from confusion to hurt, and finally to a deep and profound disappointment that was worse than any anger he could have shown. In the end, he forgave her. He understood the pain that had driven her actions, the fear that had poisoned her mind. He saw the wounded woman behind the cruel tests. But forgiveness wasn't enough to build a future on. As the sun set, casting long shadows across the quiet street, he told her he could not stay. Ewel Kedda wears the gold grey. Love, he explained, cannot survive where fear creates danger. It cannot be built on a foundation of suspicion and deceit. And as she watched him go, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek, she finally understood. In the quiet solitude that followed, Adesewa began to heal. Staring out her window at the dawn of a new day, she finally learned the lesson her heart had been trying to teach her all along. Love is not something that can be proven through painful tests or elaborate traps. True connection is built on vulnerability and trust, not suspicion and fear. She learned that it was unfair to punish every new man for the sins of the one who came before. And she learned that not every story has to end in marriage to be a success. Some stories end not with a ring, but with wisdom, and for Adesewa, that was a beginning. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that makes you think and feel.